Om Sadashivasamaramбхам
Om Sadashivasamaramбхam
Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Om Bhadram Karnebhih Shrunuyama Devaha Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraha Thirairangaistuštuvagumsastanubhihi Shema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vruddhashravāha Swasti nah Pūಷಾ Vishwavedāha Swasti nastarkṣyo Arishtanemihi Swasti no Brihaspati'r dadhātu Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi Om Brahma Devanam Pratamas Sambhabhuva Vishwasya Karta Bhuvanasya Gopta Brahma Vidyam Sarva Vidya Pratishtham Sarvaya Jyeshta Putraya Praha We are starting Mundakopanishad from today. Before we actually study the Upanishad mantras, let us try to understand what is meant by Upanishad. Okay. So, in general, when we say Vedanta, okay, Vedanta means end portion of Vedas. Okay, Vedasya Antaha. So, the end portion of Vedas are called Vedanta, and in that end portion you have what is known as these Upanishads, these texts called Upanishads. The Upanishads are generally in a portion of Veda called Aranyaka, they are Brahmana. So the Vedic texts themselves are broadly divided into two parts. We say mantra portions are all having this, they are poetic, correct? That means they have a chandas. So you have to follow a certain meter. So mantras are there, and mantras again have swara also. The Vedic mantras you cannot chant in any swara. So generally you have to chant in a particular swara. Even the Shanti mantra here you have to chant with proper swara. There is a swara prakriya for that. So the mantra portion is called Samhita in general. So the Samhita part is our mantra portion is mainly different prayerful verses, you can say, praising different devatas And then there is a Brahmana portion. Brahmana portion of the Veda is prose. Okay. So the prose portion is, you can consider it as an explanation of the mantras. And in many Brahmanas, there are also descriptions of how you can do different homas, different types of yagas. All these details are given, how to do a particular type of homa and what is the phalan, what is the result for that. Those things are all discussed. So there is broadly there is a Samhita portion, there is a Brahmana portion, and even in the Brahmana portion, one portion discusses all different karma, okay, how to do karma. Then there is a portion which is about upasana, how to do upasana. That is called Aranyaka, because if you link this with our ashrama also, ashrama dharma, the grihasthas are supposed to do different karma, whether it is nitya karma, naimitika karma or kamya karma. So nitya karma means whatever we are supposed to do every day. Every day we are supposed to do some prayer, sandhya vandanam. Then Vaidikas were also doing Agnihotram, Aupasanam, like this there are many different karmas are there. Then Naimittika karma means during particular occasions, whatever prayers or any other Vaidika karma which we do. For example, we are going to get a solar eclipse day after, I think. And so during the Grahanam, Chandra Grahana or Surya Grahana, you are supposed to do certain karma. That is called Naimittika karma. Okay. Or even if you go on a Tirtha Yatra and in different places, you have to do different types of karma, let us say. Those are all called Naimittika karma. Then Kamya karma are there. If you want to go to Swarga, you can do this karma. If you want a putra, then you do this karma. If you want rain, you do this karma. If you want wealth, then you do this. Like this, there are a lot of Kamya karmas are also mentioned. So all these karmas are discussed in the Brahmana portion, and it is again related to the Grihasthas, because the Grihastha-shrami is only supposed to do all the Vaidika karma. The Brahmachari is only supposed to learn the Veda, and the only karma the Brahmachari does is Samidadana. Okay. Other than Sandhya Vandanam, Samidadana is the only Agni karma a Brahmachari can do. But a Grihastha only can do all the other karma. Then once you become a Vanaprasthi, so you enter the Vanaprastha ashrama, you can do all these different upasanas. So that is why there is a Aranyaka also. One portion of the Veda is called Aranyaka, means those are all dealing with upasanas, where again mainly for this Vanaprastha ashrama people. Okay. And then part of this, or the end portion of this Aranyaka itself, you have different Upanishads also, which is talking about the Jnana. Now some Upanishads are there in this prose portion. That means they are in the Brahmana portion or in the Aranyaka portion of a Veda Shaka, because Veda itself is divided into different Shakas. Broadly 4 Vedas are there. Even within them, for example, the Yajurveda has Krishna Yajurveda and Shukla Yajurveda. 2 major shakhas are there. And then we have anyway Rig Veda, Sama Veda, Atharva Veda. Now these Upanishads are there, many Upanishads are there. Some Upanishads are Mantra Upanishads. So they appear in the Samhita portion of the Veda, and they are supposed to have more authenticity or more importance. Other Upanishads are all Brahmana Upanishads, or they are in Aranyaka part, and they are like more like explanation of the Mantra Upanishad. Now, like this, if you see, there are many Upanishads are there. Hundreds of Upanishads are there actually. In fact, there is a Upanishad Brahma Yogin. Like that, there was a Swami. I think he wrote commentary on 108 Upanishads or something like that. But in general, 10 Upanishads are supposed to be the major Upanishads, as they call it. That is because Adi Shankara wrote commentary on 10 Upanishads. So those Upanishads are studied with Shankaracharya's commentary, and they are studied more because the commentaries, Shankara deemed that commentaries have to be written for these Upanishads, so they are considered to be major Upanishads. So what are these Upanishads if we see? We have Ishavasya Upanishad. Ishavasya Upanishad is from the Samhita, Shukla Yajurveda Samhita. It's a Samhita Upanishad. Then Keno Upanishad is there, that is from Samaveda. Then there is a Kathopanishad is there. Kathopanishad is from Krishna Yajurveda. Then Prashnopanishad is from Atharva Veda. Then Mundaka-Upanishad, which we are going to study now, is from Atharva Veda again. This is a Mantra Upanishad actually. So it's a very significant Upanishad. Then Mandukya Upanishad also is there. That Mandukya also is from Atharvana Veda only. And Mandukya Upanishad is very significant because not only Shankaracharya wrote a commentary on that, but his Parama Guru Gaudapadacharya also has written a Karika on Mandukya Upanishad. So there is a so normally when we study the Mandukya Upanishad, we always study it along with the Gaudapada Karika. So Mandukya Upanishad is a very important Upanishad that way. Then there is Taittiriya Upanishad is there. Taittiriya Upanishad is very popular in South India, in fact, because the Krishna Yajurveda itself is more popular in South. And portions of Taittiriya Upanishad people chant even during temple processions like that. So Taittiriya Upanishad, the Swaras have also survived. So it is part of a larger Taittiriya Aranyaka, which is still chanted a lot. So that is also from Krishna Yajurveda. Then you have Aitareya Upanishad, which is from Rigveda. Okay. So these are the 8 Upanishads. Then there are 2 big Upanishads, size-wise huge. So we have Chandogya Upanishad from Samaveda, which is again, which has 7 or 8 chapters, very big. Then Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, the name itself has Brihat. So it is the biggest or largest Upanishad in terms of the number of verses. And even all the different topics are covered in Brihadaranyaka. So Taittiriya Upanishad and Brihadaranyaka Upanishads are also again very important in the tradition because Sureshwaracharya has written Vartika on them. So there is a Taittiriya Vartika by Sureshwaracharya and also Brihadaranyaka Vartika. So like this, 10 Upanishads we have, and amongst these 10 Upanishads we are going to start with Mundaka-Upanishad, which is a Mantra Upanishad. And why this Mundaka is very important is, in this Mundaka-Upanishad, the Upanishad's teaching, all Upanishads teach the main Tatparya is that it is about yourself, correct? What is the nature of oneself? That is discussed in all the Upanishads. But Mundaka-Upanishad also talks about certain other important things like the teaching tradition. So there is a Sampradaya and there is a Parampara, Guru Shishya Parampara. So it talks about that. Again, it also talks about who is a seeker, okay? Who is a mumukshu, and a mumukshu, what a mumukshu should do, how a mumukshu should approach a guru, and how the guru should be, who can be a guru. Like this, it talks about many other important topics also. So that's why we are considering this Upanishad's study to start with. Okay, so this Mundaka-Upanishad is a very important Upanishad. It is also a Mantra Upanishad. That way also it is very, very significant Upanishad. So now before we move forward, let us also try to understand the meaning of the word Upanishad. So Upanishad is from the Dhatu Sad, Shadl, Visharana Gati Avasadhaneshu. Like this, in the Dhatu Pata, if you go and check, the Shatl Dhatu is in the meaning of Visharana, Gati and Avasadhana. Visharana means, you can say, to disintegrate, erode. Okay, these are the meanings you can give for Visharana. Gati means obtain, know, obtain. Okay. Then Avasadhana means destruction, to destroy. So this Sad Dhatu, in the Dhatu Pata it is written as Shadl, comes in all these three meanings. Visharana, to disintegrate or erode, Gati, to obtain, know, and Avasadhana, which is to destroy, completely destroy. Okay. And further, in this case, this dhatu is there along with two prefixes, upani, purve. Okay. So upa, ni, there are two prefixes are there. So along with this prefix only the word is there. In Kartari Vyutpatti it comes. Okay. Kartari means in the sense of a doer. Okay, Upanishad, for example, in English, if we have to say walker, is Kartari. Okay, walker is in the sense of somebody who is doing something, correct? Who is walking. But cooker is not Kartari. Cooker is Karane, because cook in fact is Kartari in English. Cooker is instrumental. Okay. So anyway, this Upanishad word has the prefix upa and ni. Now what is the meaning of upa? Upa samipe. So the upa prefix comes in the meaning of samipa, nearby. Now upa by itself just means near. Now near, if you take it as a noun, let us say, what is the nearest to yourself? The nearest to oneself is oneself only, correct? It cannot be anything other than self. You are nearest to yourself. All other things are away only, that way if you see. So here upa actually means atma, self. Okay. So this Upa means Atma or self, and then Ni. Ni word comes in the Nishchaya, in the meaning of Nishchaya or clear knowledge. Okay. So here let us take, with reference to each of these meanings. Okay, if you take disintegration, means the one which disintegrates all your anartha, okay, or erodes away undesirable things, like your own samsara. Okay, we are all having a notion that we are limited, we are a wanting person, we are subjected to sorrow. So we want to get rid of this sorrow, we want to get rid of all the limitations, we want to be free from all limitations. So by making you know yourself, okay, Gati here is in the sense of Brahma Vidya. Brahman and Atman are one and the same. This identity only the Upanishad is this knowledge of this identity is what the Upanishad is giving you. So Gati, if you take, it is about Brahma Vidya, about knowledge, and this knowledge will erode or will disintegrate, make the anarthas go away. Okay, whatever is not desirable, undesirable things go away. Fine. So that is the phalan or the result. But will they come back? What if the samsara comes back? What, I think I am limitless, but what if the limitations come back? No. The limitations or the anarthas can never come back, because it also destroys the ignorance completely. Avasadana. Avasadana means to destroy. Samulam. With the root cause, it destroys the ignorance. So all the cause of the anarthas are also destroyed. The anarthas also are disintegrated along with its cause, ignorance, which is completely destroyed, and by gaining the knowledge of yourself as Brahman. So this is the meaning, different ways, whichever way you look at it, this is the meaning of Upanishad. Upanishad means Brahma Vidya, okay, Atma Vidya, and this Atma Vidya takes away all your sorrow, your limitations, all the things which are undesirable, and it also destroys ignorance about yourself. Okay, so this Atma Vidya is Upanishad, Brahma Vidya is Upanishad, fine. Then why are we calling this text as Upanishad? So here there is a sambandha, there is a relationship between this knowledge and the text, which is very important, because modern Vedanta, there is a lot of confusion in this area. So we all have to be very clear even before we start our study, why we are studying a text and why the text is called Upanishad. Because the meaning of Upanishad is Brahma Vidya, Atma Vidya, fine. Then why are we studying this text? Because this text only gives you this knowledge, correct? That is the sambandha. Pratipadaka, Pratipadya sambandha is there between the text and the knowledge. So this knowledge is revealed to you by this text. For example, we say quantum physics. Quantum physics is actually a discipline of knowledge. But the book also is called quantum physics, correct? Because the quantum physics book deals with that particular discipline of knowledge and it reveals that discipline of knowledge, let us say. So it is called, the book also is known with the same name. Similarly here, Upanishad is Brahma Vidya, Atma Vidya, and the text which is revealing this knowledge to you is also known as Upanishad. So between the text and the knowledge there is a Pratipadaka, Pratipadya Sambandha. Pratipadaka means the one which is revealing, okay, the revealer, and Pratipadya means that which is revealed. So the knowledge is revealed, the book is the revealer, the text is the revealer. So Pratipadaka, Pratipadya Sambandha is there. So that's why we call the book also as Upanishad. Okay, now the question, more important question is, why should I know myself or Brahman through this text? Is there any other way to know, or is there no other way to know? There can be a question. Now, this particular question also has to be answered and also be understood by all of you very clearly. So, why should we read the text to know? Now, if you take yourself, or for anybody, self or I is not completely unknown, correct? We all know ourselves. I am so and so. Like that, we have a certain self-consciousness. In fact, the I is self-evident. It is self-revealing. Because to know myself, I don't have to use any means of knowledge. To know everything else, I have to use some means of knowledge. I have to either use sensory perception or different forms of inference, in which scientific knowledge also is included. So, to know other things other than myself, I can use perception and inference, different types of inference. But to know myself, I don't have to use any, at least my own existence, I don't have to establish by knowing myself through some pramana and all that, because the very act of a pramana pravritti, what we call in Sanskritam, the very transaction which happens, correct? Empirically, the very act of knowing presupposes a knower. Without knower, there cannot be any act of knowing. So the knower is already established. The knower is self-evident, self-existent. And the knower need not be known through any means of knowledge. So this is the first thing. That means I have some knowledge about myself, that I am existent. Nobody is confused with respect to that. You don't have to pinch yourself to know that you are there. Or you don't have to do an inference that since I am married, I am existing. Nothing like that. You don't have to do anything like that. You are. That is established. Self-evident. Then why should I know myself? I know I am, correct? The problem is you know yourself. How do you know yourself? So we have a certain notion about ourselves. So all of us have an identity. We place our I on different things. We place our I on our body and we have certain notions based on that. We place our I on our anthakarana, in our mind or internal instrument, whatever you call it. And based on that, we have certain notions about ourselves. I am intelligent, I am stupid. So, the whole issue is because we take ourselves as limited beings. Okay. Now, when we look at ourselves as limited beings, this is again there. This is taken for granted, correct? That I am a limited being, everybody takes that for granted. That is not something we have arrived at after doing careful analysis or anything. We have a certain identity about ourselves and we don't question it on a daily basis or anything. But what is important there is the conclusion which we have taken for granted, that I am limited, is not something we are happy about it or we are comfortable with, correct? We have a natural urge to get rid of any type of limitation which is centered on myself. So this urge is not some cultivated desire or anything like that. See, certain desires are cultivated. For example, let us say I have a desire for Chinese food. Now, Chinese food is not something native to my country also, correct? I have to get exposed to Chinese food. I may like it, I may not like it, or initially I may be so and so, but again, and if I eat it many times due to some reason with my friends or something, and I may develop a taste for that. So that is cultivated. Certain desires can be cultivated. But certain desires are not cultivated, or certain urges. For example, you are hungry and you have to eat. This hunger is not something cultivated, it is there naturally, it is instinctual. Okay, thirst also is like that. Similarly, this struggle to get rid of my limitations also is instinctual. It is an urge which is there within us. Okay, and this urge is there means there has to be something about it, correct? Because I am hungry means food is given, correct? I am born in this world, I am hungry and food is given. Mother's milk is there to start with. Later on, Oshadibhyaha Annam, Upanishad says. So different Oshadis are all there, plants are there, and they are all again producing food for you by doing photosynthesis. And food is available, so food is given. So if you have an urge like hunger, then something to eat is given. Okay. If you have thirst, then water, something to drink is given in the creation. Similarly, I have a thirst to get rid of my limitations, let us say. Then some solution for that has to be given, correct? So what is that? That is what we have to understand. Because there are only two scenarios. One is that I accept I am limited. That is my nature. And I have to live with that. But the problem is I am not able to do that. Naturally, I am struggling. I think that by gaining something, I will become free from certain limitations. But by gaining anything, whether it is something or even some experience, let us say, none of that is permanently relieving me of my sense of limitation, sense of want, sense of being a wanting person, that is not being addressed. Okay, whatever you may achieve, whatever you may gain, that I am a wanting person is not going to go away, because whatever we achieve through karma, through action, is finite. And any amount of finite things we can add to ourselves, we can achieve in this life, or even hereafter. Let us say you go to Swargaloka, and there also you enjoy different things, you acquire many different things, let us say, but still you are an individual. You may be an exalted individual, but you are an individual. You are a deva, but you are still a jiva. That means there is a limitation centered on yourself, and that is not something which I can accept. There is an urge. There is instinctually I am struggling to get rid of that. So then what is given is that, what if I am already limitless? That is the only other possibility, correct? If I cannot become free from limitation by doing something, then I should be already free from all limitations. Okay? If I am already free from all limitations, then why am I having this problem? Why do I think that I am limited? That is because of ignorance. Because this, whatever I seek, which is moksha, correct? I seek freedom, which is moksha, freedom from all limitations. This freedom from all limitations cannot be a thing which I can actually gain, correct, newly. It cannot be something which is not there right now and I have to gain it. It cannot be something which I have to obtain, which is already unobtained. Then the only other option is, it is something which I have to obtain, which is already obtained. What is this? Gaining of the gained. Okay, it is not gaining of something which you have not yet gained, but in fact it is gaining of something which you already have, let us say. Now how do I gain something which I have already have, which I have already obtained it, I already have it? How do I gain it now? In fact, how did you lose it to start with? The only way you lose it is because of ignorance. So I can have my specs here and I can keep on searching all over the house. I will not get it, correct? I am not going to get it. Somehow it never occurs that even though the specs are there on my ears, it is resting on my forehead, but it never occurs to me that I already have the specs. I am searching all over the place. So here I have already obtained, or I have gained the specs. The spectacles are with me only, but due to ignorance I don't have it, correct? It becomes unobtained. It is not yet gained, just due to ignorance. So for this, to gain these spectacles, I don't have to go and buy a new spectacles or anything. I don't have to make a new spectacle and get it. All I know I need to gain is knowledge that I already have the spectacles. Okay. So only through knowledge I can gain something which I already have. Is that clear?
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
So, and one more thing, just my thought. And if we are gaining something, then there's always a possibility that we'll also lose something, lose the same what we have gained from outside.
Correct.
So, so it means that we already have it. It's not that we are gaining, right?
That's what I'm saying. If you already have it, the gain is notional, correct? The notional gain is only in terms of losing your ignorance. It's not even really a gain. It's actually the destruction of ignorance. The self-knowledge is not a knowledge of something which you don't know, or which you, for example, I say that there is some animal called llama. Now this llama animal many of us may not know, correct? It's not native to even India, or it is not native to even North America, I think. So to know that, you have to go there, go to South America maybe somewhere, and then find that animal, or nowadays you can see it in television. So in that case, the llama ignorance goes away by gaining knowledge of llama. Okay? So it is something, but even there the ignorance of llama has gone away, because all knowledge is present. Understand this. Isvara is all knowledge. This whole creation itself is manifestation of Isvara's knowledge. So, but our minds, correct, our antakarana only is a covering here. Because we have to know through a mind, our knowledge is limited because of the karana which we have. Now, Ishvara's upadhi, the Ishvara is qualified. Ishvara's characteristic is that we call it Maya upadhi, correct? So Ishvara does not require a mind to know anything. That is why Ishvara is Sarvajnaha. Ishvara knows everything, and that knowledge itself is manifest as this Jagat, as this creation. Like our knowledge manifests as the dream world. Clear? Once the dream world is manifest, the space-time is created there. Within that we have all sorts of differentiation. Something is sentient, and in the dream world also you have some animal which is sentient. Then there is a mountain, let us say, which is insentient. All these differences are there, but it is all your own knowledge which is manifesting. Similarly, this entire creation is a manifestation of Bhagavan, Bhagavan's knowledge in fact, and that is all knowledge. And Bhagavan does not require a mind to know anything. That is what we call Sarvajñatvam, Sarvavetritvam also. So in general also Bhagavan knows everything, in particular also Bhagavan knows everything, both in general and in particular. That's what that's why we have two words. One is called Sarvajñaha, another is Sarvavit. So Bhagavan's knowledge is there already. That is what is manifest as this creation. And we have ignorance because of this mind. And every piece of knowledge which we are gaining is nothing but that we are chipping away that ignorance, because knowledge is already there. All knowledge only is manifest as this very creation, and what goes away is only ignorance. When the ignorance is removed, that knowledge is shining through. Is that clear? So that's how we look at it. So even in the case of our own self also we have ignorance. Atma, Ajnanam is there, self ignorance. In the case of self we don't have total ignorance. As I told you, my existence is known because I am self-evident and self-existent. There is no confusion with respect to that. But still there are wrong notions about me. That is all due to ignorance. That I am a wanting person. That I am limited. These are all conclusions born out of ignorance. And so when we talk about this Brahma Vidya, it's really only destruction of ignorance. Ignorance goes away. And when the ignorance about myself goes away, what is there as it is, which is I am the limitless being, conscious being. I am not a wanting person anymore. I am not subjected to any sorrow. In fact, even in our empirical life, worldly life, happiness, let us take. Happiness is not a thing, correct? Although we think that by gaining something I become happy, happiness itself cannot be considered as something. Now, neither it is a quality of a particular thing, okay? So, if happiness is a thing, I can go to market and buy it. In fact, Americans would have already produced it, I think. They are very good at it. So, I can go to a market and buy half a kg, 1 kg daily I can buy. But it's not like that. Nor is it a quality of any particular thing. Because you think that by getting this particular car you are happy, but looking at the same car your neighbor is not happy, correct? He is envying you and he feels miserable. So if the thing has a quality, then all of us should perceive it in the same way, but even that we cannot say. Or even the same car, today you buy a new car, you feel a certain exhilaration, correct? Enthusiasm is there to drive and you feel good about it. But what about after 1 month? It's not the same, correct? There is a law of diminishing returns. It becomes old, it becomes boring. So it's not the same thing, because we are all the time trying to repeat an experience. Whatever happiness we felt the first time, we want the same thing again and again. We somehow try to recreate that experience, but that's not happening, correct? At least with the same thing, it's not going to happen. A thing which gave you happiness when you first had it is not going to give you the same happiness maybe after 1 year or even 1 month, let us say. Then what do? You think, okay, now this thing is no good, I will try something else. So that is what is a samsari, correct? Samyak sarati iti samsaraha. Samsari itself is one who goes from one thing to another. But happiness is not a thing. Happiness is myself, in fact. When I don't look upon myself as a wanting person, I am happy. And that is what really happens. When you actually gain something, when you gain that thing, momentarily at least you are not looking at yourself as a wanting person. Is that clear? So when you don't look upon yourself as a wanting person, that is your true nature. You are happy. You are in touch with yourself. But as soon as you start thinking you are a wanting person, again you are back into the rut. Okay? So that is the important thing we have to understand here. So moksha cannot be something which I can gain newly, which I can gain. It is not a thing which has to be created, or it is not a place which I have to reach, nor it is something which which is already there but I have to go and obtain it or anything like that. It is not a result of any action, whether it is mental action, physical action, whatever type it is. So moksha cannot be something which I gain. This is what in this Upanishad, later on you will see, there is a beautiful verse here. Nasti akritaha kriten parikshya lokan karmachitan brahmanaha nirvedamayat nasti akritaha kritena. Akritaha, that which cannot be created, that which cannot be obtained, cannot be gained also, correct, by any karma. Nasti akritaha kritena, by doing something you cannot gain. That is the nature of this Brahman or Atman. That is the limitlessness we are talking about. So karma or any action is not going to be a solution. Then what is the solution? The only other possibility is I am already that, but I don't know. And if ignorance is the problem, then knowledge is the only solution. And here the ignorance is centered on myself. Again understand, the problem is myself. The problem is not anywhere else outside. I am the problem because the problem is centered on myself being a wanting person, which is again not acceptable to myself. The fundamental problem being one of self non-acceptance centered on myself, because I look upon myself as a wanting limited being. The solution also has to center on me only. And the problem is because of ignorance about myself. The solution has to be knowledge about myself. If the solution is knowledge about yourself, that knowledge is what is Upanishad, correct? Upanishad is nothing but knowledge about yourself as Brahman. And this knowledge is not available to you from anywhere else. Understand that. This knowledge is not available to me from anywhere else. It is available only through Veda as a pramana, through Shabda we have to say, because all other means of knowledge like perception and inference, they only reveal to you things other than yourself. Because the very pramana pravritti presupposes a knower. None of these means of knowledge are revealing the knower's swarupa, knower's reality. They are only revealing something else to the knower. That means we require another means of knowledge to know myself. Because the problem is one of ignorance, I need knowledge is the solution. And if knowledge is solution, I need a means of knowledge. And where is this means of knowledge going to come from? That is Shabda. Shabda here is the Veda. So words are the means of knowledge, the words of the Veda. Okay, words of the Veda, but how did this come? This Veda, where did it come from? Okay, Veda is also given. Like you are born with hunger, food is given. You are born with thirst, water is given. You are born with this mumuksha, correct? Everybody is really a mumukshu, whether they realize it or not. Since you have this mumukshutvam, a solution for that also is given. This mumukshutvam, when you analyze it, it becomes jijnasa, desire for knowledge, and to fulfill that desire, pramana also is given, correct? The same Isvara only has given the Veda also as a pramana to know yourself. So here again the word given has to be understood properly. In one way everything is given, correct? We say that the whole creation is a manifestation of Isvara. All the Panchabhutas are Isvara. My own body, mind, sense complex also is a manifestation of Isvara. That way if you see everything is given. But more specifically, if we look at it, even the Veda is given to us through a parampara. There is a Rishi parampara is there, correct? Rishi, Rishati, Janati iti Rishihi. Okay? So the one who knows. So the Rishi is the one who has received a mantra, and then a parampara has started, Guru Shishya parampara. Guru has taught the Shishya, Shishya is teaching his own Shishyas, like that. This whole lineage is there, Guru Shishya parampara. So that's how this knowledge, this means of knowledge, Veda, has come to us. And here again the important thing is, it is not a creation of any one particular individual. It is given by Isvara. That is an important thing to understand. That's why we say the Veda is apaurusheya. It is not from the intellect or mind of any Purusha, any individual. The Rishis are not mantra kartaraha. They are not the one who invented these mantras or anything like that. They are not the creators of the mantras. They are mantra drashtaraha. They saw it, they received it, and then they started. They are only a sampradaya karta. Shankaracharya, in fact, in the introductory bhashyam, says that here the rishis are only sampradaya karta. They have started a teaching tradition. They have a methodology to teach. This is also very important here. So there is a subject matter to be taught, which is Brahma Vidya, Atma Vidya, and also there is a way of teaching this, because this knowledge is very subtle. It is about the subject. It is not about any object. And throughout our life, we are very comfortable knowing something which is objective. Then how do I reveal the subject? That's why there is a particular methodology called Adhyaropa Apavada. Adhyaropa Apavadabhyam Nishprapancham Prapanchate. Like that, that is the traditional way of teaching. There is a methodology. So you deliberately superimpose something and then negate it. Adhyaropa means you are deliberately superimposing something and then you negate to reveal who you are. Because in the case of oneself, the self is partly known, correct? As I told you, the existence of oneself need not be established by any pramana. All the pramana is going to do is remove all your wrong notions about yourself. Once all these wrong notions are gone, what is there is there. That is you, as the limitless conscious being. So, that is the Ananda Swarupa also. Okay, that is happiness. So, you are already free from any sorrow, any form of want, any limitation. It's as though all your desires are already fulfilled. That is the teaching. And to teach that, there is a methodology. So the rishis are sampradaya krits. They have the teaching methodology and also they know the subject matter to teach, and they started a parampara, a lineage. That's what this Upanishad also starts with, that, correct? So the first mantra itself says Brahma, it says the parampara started from Brahma. And then Brahma taught somebody, okay, Atharva. Then Atharva teaches it to his son, like that the whole lineage is talked about here. So that's why we have to understand this sampradaya is very important. Asampradaya with murkavat apekshaniyaha, also Shankara says. Okay, so those who do not know the methodology to teach, there is no point in going to them. You cannot learn anything from them. Okay, there is a subject matter and there is also a methodology to teach. These two things are important. That's why you have to go to a Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. The Upanishad itself says that. It's not that I am not claiming that to say that you have to only go to somebody who has studied the Shastra properly and all that. Don't think that I am promoting myself or my Guru is promoting himself or anything like that. It is the Upanishad says Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. You have to go to the one who has studied the Shastras, Shrotriyam, and one who is well established in this knowledge, one who has clear knowledge and one who is established in that knowledge. Such a person you have to go and learn. And again, the important thing is another, I think in the introduction here, Shankara also says one more important thing. Shastrajñopi swatantriyena, you cannot do this Atma Vichara. You may be knowing Sanskrit, you may be knowing grammar, you may be knowing whatever, Amara Kosha, all the things, Niruktam, Chandas, you may know many things, but you cannot do this Vichara yourself. You need a teacher to teach you. That's why even the Chandogya Upanishad says, Acharyavan Purusho Veda. The one who has the Acharya, he learns that. And here also it says, in this also, Tad Vijnanartham Sa Gurumeva Abhigachet. So to know this Brahman, this Atman, you have to approach a Guru with a particular certain attitude also. You have to have a reverential attitude. Samit Panihi, it says. With Samit in your hand, you have to approach a Guru. That means you are ready to do any seva. Also in Bhagavad Gita we saw Acharyopasanam is a value. Bhagavad Gita there is a verse Tadvidhi Pranipatena Pariprashnena Sevaya Upadeksyanti Te Jnanam Jnaninas Tattvadarshinaha. Like this also there is a verse. To know this, so you go, you surrender to your Guru, you do seva. Okay? You discuss with your Guru, you do samvada, you learn. And then for such people who come with an attitude of seva, who come with a certain commitment to know, people will teach. The Guru has nothing better to do, correct? If there are students to learn, any Guru will be happy to teach. Anybody is happy to teach whatever they know, provided there are people who are interested to learn, correct? It's the same here. So, even though you know the language, still you have to go and study with a Guru. That is also very important. So, with this introduction, we will close it here today. We will continue next week. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam
Om Purnamadah Purnamidam
Purnat Purnamudachyate
Purnat Purnamudachyate
Purnasya Purnamadaya
Purnasya Purnamadaya
Purnamevavashishyate
Purnamevavashishyate.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.
Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.
Harihi Om.
Harihi Om.